Have you watched the Descendants movies? Well, if so, then the book Isle of the Lost, a Descendants novel, is very different from the movie. Today I'm going to be reading about, few chapters. A few things, a few pages. So, yeah. Once upon a time, during a time after all the happily ever afters, and perhaps even after the ever afters after that, the evil villains of the world were banished from the United Kingdom of Oregon and imprisoned on the Isle of the Lost. There, underneath the protective dome that kept all manner of enchantment out of their clutches, the terrible, the treacherous, the truly awful, and the severe sinister were cursed to live without the power of magic. King Beast declared the villains exiled forever. Forever, as it turns out, is quite a long time. Longer than an enchanted princess can sleep. Longer than even an imprisoned maiden's tower of golden hair. Longer than a week of being turned into a frog, and certainly much longer than waiting for a prince to finally get around to placing that glass slipper on your foot already. Yes, forever is a long, long, long time. 10 years to be specific. 10 years that these legendary villains have been trapped on a floating prison of rock and rubble. Okay, so you might be saying 10 years is such a long time, considering for these conjurers and witches, viziers and sorcerers, evil queens and dark fairies, to live without magic was a sentence worse than death. And some of them were brought back from the death, only to be placed on this island, so they should know. Without their awesome powers to dominate and hypnotize and terrorize and threaten, create thunder clouds and lightning storms, transform and disguise their features, or lie and manipulate their way into getting exactly what they wanted, they were reduced to hardscrabble lives, ecking a living, selling and eating slop, scaring no one but their own minions, and stealing from each other. It was hard even for them to imagine they had once been great and powerful. These poisoners of forest apples and thieves of undersea voices, these usurpers of royal powers and owners of petulant mirrors. Now their lives were anything but powerful. Now they were ordinary, everyday, to be said, dull. So it was with great excitement and no small fanfare that the island gathered for a one-of-a-kind event. A 6-year-old princess's wickedly wonderful birthday party. Wicked being something of a relative term under a dome that houses a bunch of powerless former villains. In any event, a party it was. It was the most magnificent celebration that the isolated island and its banished citizens have ever seen, and tales of its Gothic grandeur and obnoxious opulence would be told for years to come. The party to end all parties. This lavish occasion transformed the ramshackle bazaar and its rotting storefronts into the middle of an island, into a spookily spectacular playground full of ghostly lanterns and flickering candles. Weeks before, a flock of vultures had circled the land, dropping invitations on every shabby doorstep and hovel, so that every grubby little urchin from every corner of the island would be able to partake in this enchanting, extraordinary event. Every little urchin on the island, that is, except for one malicious little fairy. Whether her invitation was lost to the wind and torn to tatters, or devoured by the hungry buzzards themselves, or never even addressed in that looping royal scrawl, as was suspected. We will never know, but the result was the same. Above the tumultuous bazaar, up high on her castle balcony, 6-year-old Mal pulled on the locks of her thick purple hair and pursed her lips as she observed the dark and delicious festivities below. What she could make of them, at least, there she saw the tiny princess, the fairest of the land, sitting on her rickety throne. Her hair as blue as the ocean, eyes dark as night, and lips as pink as roses. Her hair was pulled back from her face in a pretty V braid, and she laughed in delight at the array of marbles before her. The princess possessed a darling giggle that was so entrancing it brought a smile to haughty Lady Tremaine's face, she of the thwarted plans to marry her daughters to Prince Charming. The ferocious tiger Shere Khan was practically purring like a contented kitty, and for old time's sake Captain Hook bravely stuck his head between Tick-Tock's open jaws, if only so he could make her laugh and hear that lovely peal again. The princess, it would seem, could make even the most horrible villain smile, but Mal wasn't smiling. She could practically smell the 2-story cake made of sour apples, sinfully red and lusciously wormy. And try as she might, she couldn't overhear the screeches of the parrot Iago as he repeated over and over again the story of the talking caves that held riches beyond measure, until the assembled villagers wanted to wring his feathered neck. Mal sighed with a greedy-eyed jealousy as the children gleefully tore into their batty rags. The crumpled containers held a variety of evil sidekicks to choose from. Pet baby moray eels, akin to the slimy flotsam and jetsam swimming in a tiny pool. Little spotted cackling hyenas, who were no far quieter than the infamous Shenzi, Banzai, and Ed, pouncing in adorably kittings from Lucifer's latest litter. Their badly behaved reticents screamed with excitement. As the party escalated into a feverish merriment, Mal's heart grew as black as her mood, and she swore that one day she would show them all what it meant to be truly evil. She would grow up to be even greedier than Mother Gothel, more selfish than even Cinderella's stepsisters, more cunning than Jafar, more deceptive than Ursula. She would show them that she was just like her. "Mother!" she yelped, as the shadow of 2 looming, ominous horns made their way towards the balcony, and her mother appeared, her purple cape fluttering softly in the wind. If you want to read the rest, read Isle of the Lost, a Descendants novel by Melissa de la Cruz. Oh, and by the way, Descendants 3 is coming out sometime soon. So watch the other 2 movies, Descendants 2 and Descendants, and then watch it in theaters or something. I don't really know when it's going to come.